Are you still stuck on the same first chapter or the same scene or the same couple of pages in your book? Don't worry, it's a common problem, but I can help you fix it in this video. I wrote 10 books in 8 years before I sold my first one, so I had a lot of times where I got stuck. And even with the books that I have now, and I've published 85, I still have a moment when I get stuck in the book. And there's usually a few different reasons for that. So let's talk about the why, and then we will talk about how to fix it. Before we get into that, just that quick little commercial to remind you to hit subscribe. The number one why that is keeping people from writing beyond wherever they're at in their book, even if it's the first page or the 30th page or the 300th page, I find tends to be fear. Whether it's a fear of failure or a fear of success or a fear that you just aren't good enough as a writer, so many of us feel that. It is such a common problem. I remember the first time that I hit a bestseller list and I was in the middle of writing a book and I was paralyzed with fear for several days. I couldn't write a single word. And it was mainly because I was afraid that my publisher was going to expect me to do that again. And I wasn't sure what little magic formula made that book a bestseller and other ones not. Eventually, I just decided to just ignore those pressures and just write anyways. And I also knew that there is no magic formula to hit a bestseller list. There are a lot of things that you can do to write the best possible book, and there's some things that you can do when you launch, but frankly, there is no magic bullet that will always make a book a bestseller. If there was, we'd all be using it. If you're feeling fear about people judging your work or actually what you're going to do with it when you finish it, you have to just set that aside and keep writing anyways. A huge component of being successful in this industry is perseverance, just sticking with it from once upon a time to happily ever after. You've got to keep sticking with it and writing the book regardless of the fears that you feel. The second thing that can get in the way of a lot of people is being unsure of the plot. Like you've just started writing, you got this great character, and then you're not really sure what happens next. And that's probably a planning problem. And it happens. There's times when I've come up with really great characters. When I wrote All Summer Long, I had this really great scene with secondary characters that had been sitting on my computer forever. I didn't know anything else about these characters or who the main character would be of the book, but I had this secondary character that I just adored. And eventually I found a book that could go around that and have her as a secondary character in it. And actually she's in several books that go along with that series. But sometimes that's where you start. And so sometimes you have to take a step back and figure out the plot. Sometimes you have a plot, but you don't have enough plot. The stakes aren't high enough. The goal isn't big enough. The motivation isn't deep enough. I've talked about that a lot on the channel in different videos. So you can go back and watch those videos because there's a whole bunch of information out there about creating a plot. And if you found that you really just don't know what's going to happen next, that could be the problem. So let's talk about how to fix all this. Number one, the fear. I totally get it. Like I said, you've got to set it aside. And I know it's easier said than done. I totally understand that. But you've got to kind of feel the fear and write anyway. That used to be a little motto up above my computer when I first started out. Feel the fear and write anyway. It's going to happen. This is a difficult industry and it's a hard one to make a successful career out of, but it's not impossible. You can do it, and you really have to just stick with it and learn how to be a better writer every day. And you can totally do that. You're watching this channel, so you're already on your way and you're already invested in learning to become a better writer. So don't worry about whether you're going to fail or succeed or if the book will be a flop or any of those things that are frankly mostly out of your control, and just concentrate on writing the best possible book you can at this exact moment in time. If you're unsure of your plot or you don't have enough plot, I've put a bunch of resources on my community that are free that you can download to plot your book out. And we've also got an entire masterclass that's all about how to plot a novel, because I think that that's a skill that we develop over time from learning and reading and a lot of other things and understanding how a plot breaks down. A plot's the foundation, the frame of your novel, like the frame of a house. And while you can have an amazing setting and beautiful characters, really that's just the interior decorations to the frame that you need to have. So if you don't have enough of a frame, you don't have a strong enough structure and foundation to propel the book forward. So go back, try those exercises, watch that video, and look at what your plot has right now and how it can become more, how it can become stronger, how it can become more meaningful to the characters and to the reader. Because meaning creates emotion, creates connection, creates avid fans forever. We're going to talk a lot more this month about writing a book for 2024 because I really want you all to finish your books this year. So keep coming back, be sure to hit subscribe, and know that I very much appreciate every one of you watching. And I will see you on the other side of the page.